Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andy Mack. We saw this image earlier this week of deadly flooding in Kentucky, and obviously a lot of people were rescued. A lot of people are still missing, but one heroic tale of a rescue happened via, well, kayak. As you can tell, there was a woman on the top of a garage with their dog, and you can see that picture as the flooding was all around the houses in Kentucky as they were trying to find their way around it. We have a heroic tale of Larry Adams, a Kentucky native that rescued his cousin and that dog. Our Matt Kirkland caught up with him on the phone.
The courageous kayaker whose video of a rooftop rescue in eastern Kentucky went viral. That region was devastated by record flooding. Larry, thanks for speaking with us. We're glad you're safe. Have you ever experienced anything like that flooding event in your life?
No, Matt. When I was younger, I think we've established it was 1986. We had a flood that got up to the steps of the houses there, and we would. I have fond memories of it because we would use these little two-man John boats and go from one house to the other house, and you know how kids will make a plaything out of anything, and that's my memory of that. But no, nothing that's devastating.
Can you take us through the rescue? When did you decide to jump in the kayak and decide to, get in the water?
Well, we had the forecast the night before. I live about 10 miles from where that video was shot. When I woke up the next morning, there was a total media blackout. We didn't have cell service, anything, and so we didn't know anything. But just based on the amount of rainfall that we got in the creek that I could see nearby, I knew that area had to be flooded. So I had my kayak on my truck already. I just went on down there, and when I got there, it was as bad as it was a whole lot worse rather than I expected it to be. And so I just went ahead and put it in the water and got out there as quick as I could.
That's absolutely incredible. No cell service, just got down in the water. Can you add some more detail about the rescue? How high did those floodwaters get? Before you got to Chloe, you said you lived about 10 miles away from where the video was shot. Can you just kind of describe what it was like kayaking through the wreckage and those record-setting floodwaters?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean there were definitely obstacles in the way. There was debris. Power lines were down, and that was my biggest concern. But I was luckily I was able to navigate that. But mostly it was just you would navigate by the tops of the houses. I mean, that's what you see, and that's the only thing you really have to go by. And so, when I got down there, you're really hoping that everyone had evacuated, and my mindset was that's what happened. I'm just going to make sure. And so when I finally did get over there, the first thing I saw was an uncle of mine on his roof, and across the way was Chloe there on top of that. That's actually a garage that Chloe was on that she had swam to.
Wow.
So it was pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean it sounds like it. Now I know Chloe swam there to the higher ground to make sure that her and her dog were safe. Can you just kind of talk about what it was like getting another person and another dog into your kayak and then taking them off of that roof and to safety?
Well, that was. I've never rescued anyone in floodwaters, but I am a whitewater kayaker and I'm sort of a nut with it. I do it weekly minimum, and so I'm used to current. I'm used to swift water, and I'm used to having to pull a buddy out of a bad situation, or having a buddy pull me out of a bad situation. Probably the latter, more, to be honest with you. But so yeah, that's that. It's I've had someone have to grab onto the back of my boat before and pull them out of a mess, and that's, you know, so it was just do what you do, you know. It was I was just really thankful to have a means to go get them. You know, that was the big thing. Was if I weren't a kayaker, I don't know, Matt. I don't know what would have happened.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, you know, your skill set and it being a unique one, and your courage and your bravery, you know, all just coming into one to perform that, you know, spectacular rescue. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, a lot of people weren't as lucky in that area, so I understand what you're saying. Let's fast forward to where we're at now. I know you're speaking to us by phone. You mentioned that cell service has been spotty, internet service has been spotty. How are the recovery efforts going in Eastern Kentucky?
It's just a massive recovery effort all over the region. We've, you know, a cleanup effort, and we still have a lot of people missing. I don't even think we have an accurate number as to how many we have missing and presumed dead. So there's a lot. There's a lot going on in this little town, and in this entire region. Iowa County, Letcher County was hit so hard, and then the river travels, the streams travel into our neighboring Knott County, and it was just absolutely obliterated. The flood came Thursday, and then on Friday they needed some kayakers in Knott County, and me and a team went over, and a buddy had pointed out to me at one point, he said, Larry, you can't, you know, you can look 360 degrees in your direction, you can't see anything but devastation no matter where we go. And it was overwhelming. We saw Jeeps and swinging bridges. I mean, it's just the things that you see. You know, it looked like a tornado that you know, dumped 18 inches of mud when it was finished. It was insane. I've never seen anything like it. My generation hasn't anyway.
Yeah, I mean, all of us watching it on video and just seeing, you know, like you said, the devastation, the obliteration coming out of that area was really hard to watch. So it can only imagine, you know, being in it. You know, we really do appreciate you making time with everything going on right now. Larry, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just that we are receiving some help, but this region needs so much help from anybody willing to give their time, to give their money, to send water, food supplies for the elderly, dog food, cat food. There's so much here that people need right now, and we don't seem to have enough feet on the ground to get all of it done. This is a small region, you know, nestled in the Appalachian Mountains, and you'll never come across more humble, genuinely generous people than the people in this area, and they just need help.
So well put. Again, Larry, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to keep you and your family and your friends and everyone in that region in our thoughts, and we'll post some links on Live Now where people can go to help, and you know, we'll hope the best for the rest of this recovery effort.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Thank you guys for shining a light on this thing, because, you know, we keep talking. We're one global event from you know, this story disappearing, and we're just really afraid of that. So thank you so much for all you guys are doing to keep that story out there.
Of course, Larry. You know, thank you again for that amazing rescue and for speaking with us today. And we hope you stay safe and take care.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
Some special moments there from Larry as he's talking about his heroic rescue. Larry Adams, humble and heroic. Here's a tweet from Andy Beshear, the governor there. Great news for Eastern Kentucky. We learned that Leslie, Magdalene, Martin, and Whitley counties are now approved for individual assistance through FEMA. The assistance is essential for our families to rebuild and recover following the devastating flooding. He's held press conferences throughout this ordeal over the last 8 days that we've watched here on Live Now from Fox as they ask and are now granted some relief there from the government. And also President Biden's expected to be in Eastern Kentucky to show his support on Monday. After that, hopefully he can test negative for COVID before he makes that trip to be able to make that trip in person. But we are expected to see President Biden out there in Eastern Kentucky to show his support for that deadly flooding. There's much more on Eastern Kentucky. Obviously, the rescue from Larry Adams is the kayak to rescue his cousin and the dog. But also there's schools and universities like Eastern Kentucky, and more details on what they are going through and how they're providing assistance to their students, to their faculty, and to the community as a whole.
The devastating floods in Kentucky is going to be a long road to recovery for all those who were impacted. And we think about some of the day-to-day issues that they are now dealing with, especially when it comes to students trying to return back to the classroom. So we do have the Eastern Kentucky University Dean of Students, Laura Vance, here with us on Live Now from Fox. And Laura, you guys are extending an extra hand to those students who were impacted by those floods.
We're doing everything that we can to help them. And like you said, we want to bring them back to classes, whether they're online or in-person classes. And we want to help facilitate that as much as possible. We're offering things like early move-in. So if it is a residential student, they can come back to the residence hall early, and we're facilitating that. Some of them are having problems with transportation. A lot of our students, their families lost vehicles, and so they're trying to get back to campus. And so we're offering support to go and get them and bring them back with their items. We also have, of course, the emergency fund, the student assistance fund for Eastern, or as I call it, the SAFE fund, to provide them with some emergency funding to help them replace items that they may have lost. A number of students that I've talked to lost computers, lost their school supplies, lost their clothing, their shoes, so many things. I've talked to multiple students that really lost everything, lost their home and all of their items. And by and large, they're telling me, you know, we're thankful we have each other. We're thankful we have the community helping us. But I think we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of what our students have lost and how we can help them. But we're doing everything we can right now to give them what they need.
And as you mentioned too, you know, these students who did have their entire, you know, families, their homes impacted, a lot of them are choosing to wait and help their families until the very last minute. So once they get on campus, I'm sure, like you just mentioned, some of those needs, some of the items you guys may be asking for in donations, those will also start to kind of change through the next upcoming weeks.
Definitely. And that's why a lot of people are giving to the emergency fund, the SAFE fund, so that we can give them the financial support that they need to pause for a minute and figure out what is it that I really need in real time versus what I'm going to need later. And we have a lot of resources on campus. We have the dining hall, and we have a food pantry on campus. Our food pantry also has clothing items. We have student health services. Of course, we have counseling services, which students can use right now because those are available virtual as well. So there are plenty of things when they get here, but that doesn't eliminate their worries. I mean, they're thinking about their families back at home. And I've talked to multiple students that, you know, may have a grandparent that lives in the home with them too, that they care for, or their family cares for. There's just a lot of that, you know, psychological noise going on that will make it difficult for them to focus on their classes. You know, so we want to help them with those things too.
I think it's good to focus on their mental well-being like you guys are, because unfortunately, you guys are familiar with disasters, whether it's floodings or tornado activity as well. And so that's going to be a big key part when they do come back so that they can be successful. You know, you're paying tuition to get that education. You want to do well in the classes that you're going to be taking. And that does come down to also your mental health.
Yes, and our counseling services here on campus are extraordinary. They're free to students. I tell students, you know, your tuition basically is paying for these services, so why not use them? And I've told a lot of students as well, you know, on the phone or through virtual meetings, that it's difficult during times like this to vent, to talk about how they are hurting, because they want to be strong for their families, and they don't want their families to feel like they have to pay extra attention to them when they might have a grandparent or a younger sibling that's impacted, or many of our students are parents themselves. So they need to appear to be strong for their family, but they're worth getting the opportunity to sit down with a counselor and express their emotions, express their hurt, their frustration, their anger, whatever they're feeling, because those emotions are valid. And talking to a counselor is a way that you can do that without feeling guilty about it. And that's important too. And our counseling services are available online, on the phone, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I mean, it sounds like you guys really are trying to offer up as many different services, whatever they may need. What about everyone else who's watching? They might not be living in Kentucky. They might not have students that attend there, but they're really looking for ways to help. What do you say to those viewers who are watching with us?
Well, if they want to help our Eastern Kentucky University students, they can donate to the Student Assistance Fund for Eastern, or the SAFE Fund, by going to our development website, which is development.eku.edu, and they can choose the SAFE Fund to make their donation, and that money goes directly to students. That's what I have the opportunity and really the honor to work with students with that fund and award them money. And there's a team of us working on this. Our financial aid office, our student accounting office helps get these awards to students as well. Honestly, there are probably actively 5 different offices on campus to make sure that this is facilitated quickly, and that students can get these emergency funds. We do keep the names of the students, though, confidential. Only really at any given time, maybe 4 of us know who the students are, and that are getting these awards. So we try to maintain their confidentiality, and just get the support to them. So that fund has been critical. It's difficult. Lots of places are taking donations. And I was talking to a student the other day that said that the Tide trucks just arrived in their town so that they could do laundry. That's a big deal. And they're so grateful for that. But when we start asking for items or accepting items, that's great. Most of our students need water. They don't have water, they don't have electricity. But that can change from moment to moment. It can change based on the number of donations that are given. And so these monetary donations really make a big difference. I talked to somebody today at a local hospital that wanted to help some students, maybe buy some items for the residence hall room if they lost their bedding and things like that. But giving the student the opportunity to pick those things out, because they haven't had control over anything during the past week. And so giving them some control over some elements in their life right now is really important too.
Yeah, and especially when you think about how important, you know, in the future, this education is going to be. We want them to be able to be as successful as possible. And I know the Eastern Kentucky University really trying to do all you guys can to help set them up for the most success that they can this fall, and of course, the rest of their education too. So we do appreciate you kind of letting us know what you guys are doing, and hopefully others will be helping out when they can. And we appreciate your time here today. Again, Laura Vance joining us here on Live Now from Fox. Thanks so much, Laura. I hope those students come back and they find all those services available, and they're able to really find different ways that they can help themselves to those services so that they can be as successful as possible.
Thank you. Many of them are on their way this weekend, so we're looking forward to welcoming them back.